Thanks for joining us. I'm Deborah Knapp. First at 10, coronavirus cases are surging in Bexar County just days before Thanksgiving. Tonight, officials are reporting 709 new cases. There are no new deaths. However, hospitalizations continue rising. There are 509 right now, which is up 17 since Sunday. Taking a look at the risk level in the area, it is still sitting at moderate. One number that factors into the risk level is the positivity rate, and it has jumped to 10%, increasing for the fifth straight week. Now, Judge Nelson Wolff is calling it a danger point. Eyewitness News reporter Zach Briggs shares the warnings from local leaders tonight.
With coronavirus cases steadily rising in San Antonio and exploding nationwide, local leaders are urging precautions for Thanksgiving. They're hammering the idea that traveling or gathering in large groups could be detrimental down the line.
If you don't heed the warnings this Thanksgiving holiday, you or your loved ones could be spending Christmas in the hospital.
Thanksgiving, I hate the fact I can't get together with our big expanded family, and we've got a big one, but we're not going to do it. And I would suggest that you consider doing the same.
Mayor Ron Nirenberg also urges people who eat at restaurants to only do so with members of your own household.
The restaurant community here has been doing with regard to precautions, sanitation, keeping tables distant, are the right kinds of regulations if patrons are able to conduct themselves in accordance with public health guidelines.
Meantime, small bars may soon shut down as Bexar County's positivity rate has climbed to 10%. Judge Wolff calls it a danger point.
The impact that it might have, depending on what happens next week, Metro Health has recommended that if we have 2 weeks at 10% or more positive rate, that the smaller bars that are not serving food would have to close.
Zach joins us live. And Zach, the city is stepping up enforcements to make sure people are following the state's coronavirus orders. What is the plan?
Well, Deborah, good evening. The plan is the city is assigning additional officers to conduct so-called proactive inspections of businesses. Now they're able to do 350 inspections per week, and that is more than double the usual number, which is why Mayor Nirenberg stressing tonight that it is important for everyone to do their part in helping curb this pandemic. Live at the medical center tonight, Zach Briggs, KENS 5 Eyewitness News.